Good morning, children. Welcome to the English class. All of you, open your textbook, page number 94. Today, let us learn the new poem, The Ant and the Cricket. Before going through the poem, let us look at the pre-reading task. Sit with your partners. Now, as you are at your house, sit with your parents and discuss the following. Doing our work at the right time, not being lazy. You have to discuss with your parents. So, now all of you look into your textbook. Let us go through the poem now. A silly young cricket, accustomed to sing through the warm sunny months of gay summer and spring, began to complain when he found that at home his cupboard was empty and winter was come. Not a crumb to be found on the snow covered ground, not a flower could he see, not a leaf on a tree. Oh, what will become, says the cricket, of me? At last, by starvation and famine made bold, all dripping with wet and all trembling with cold, away he set off to a miserly ant to see if to keep him alive he would grant him shelter from rain and a mouthful of grain. He wished only to borrow, he would repay it tomorrow. Sorry, children. If not, he must die of starvation and sorrow, says the ant to the cricket. I am your servant and friend, but we ants never borrow, we ants never lend. But tell me, dear cricket, did you lay nothing by when the weather was warm? Quoth the cricket, not I. My heart was so light that I sang day and night. For all nature looked gay. You sang, sir? You say? Go then, says the ant, and dance the winter away. Thus ending, he hastily lifted the wicket and out of the door turned the poor little cricket. Folks call this a fable. I'll warrant it true. Some crickets have four legs and some have two. Sorry, children. So, this poem, it is an adaptation from Aesop's fables. A fable is a story often with animals. It is about animals as characters. Okay, as characters which conveys a moral, which gives us a moral. In this poem, children, it is about a silly cricket and an ant. The cricket had a habit of singing, accustomed to sing, means in the habit of singing. He enjoyed all through the summer and spring season when the weather was warm, sunny, and gay. And when the winter season came, he started to complain, means he started to speak in an unhappy way that he found nothing at his home. His cupboard was empty. Okay, so when the winter arrived, the cricket started to complain that his cupboard was empty and he couldn't find even a crumb, even a small pieces of something to eat, as the ground was covered with snow. As the ground was covered with snow, the cricket didn't find anything to eat, not even a flower or a leaf in a tree. So now the cricket started to think what will become of him. So he didn't plan anything for the future in the summer and spring season when the weather was warm. But when the winter season came, he started to complain. So, next, driven by starvation. So, due to hunger and having nothing to eat, and everywhere it was wet as it was winter season, everything was covered with snow and everything was dripping, means everything was dropping with with wet, and he was trembling with cold. He was shivering with cold. So he decides to go to a miserly ant to borrow some food and to seek shelter for the winter season. And also he thought that he would repay whatever he had borrowed from the ant. Otherwise, he would die of starvation and cold. When he asked the ant for some food and shelter, the miserly ant cleverly said that indeed he is his servant and his friend. But tell me, indeed his servant and friend. And also he said that the ant said that they never borrowed or they never lent, means they never borrowed, they never taken something for anyone, or they have never given. The ants are very hardworking and they save for the future. And also the ant then questions the cricket why he did not save anything when the weather was warm. So he will ask the cricket, why didn't you save anything when the weather was warm? So the cricket replies that he did not save anything because his heart was cheerful during the warm weather. When the weather was warm, his heart was very cheerful. So he was engaged in dancing and singing day and night because the weather was beautiful and cheerful. Hearing the cricket's reply, the ant quickly lifted his wicket. Hearing that, the ant, he quickly lifted the wicket. Wicket means a small gate or door. Okay, small gate or door. So he simply lifted his wicket and he asked the cricket to go and dance in the winter season. So at last it is the poet is telling that folks call this a fable. Folks, they call this a fable, and I will warrant it true, means I will declare that it is certain, it is a story. Okay, and also the Aesop warns us not to think that the fable is a fictitious story, not to think that it is an imaginary story, because he is sure it is a true story. Yes children, it is a true story because ants are very hard working and they think of the future and they save for the future. He says that, Aesop says that moral of the fable not only applies to the crickets here. Some crickets have 4 legs and some have 2. It means that this moral not only applies for the cricket, but also it applies for the two-legged animal, that is human beings. So we should never ignore our future. We should always think of our future, and instead of wasting our time, instead of spending our time wastefully, we have to work hard and save for the future. I hope you have understood this poem, children. If you have any doubt, please contact me. Thank you.